Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's good for you.
Yeah.
You've been driving for Lyft for a long time?
4 years.
Oh, wow. You like it then, I guess?
Yeah.
Pretty much set your day as you make your money. You know how many lifts, how many rides you got to take.
I like doing the...
Yeah. Is this your number? This all you do?
No, I'm a grief counselor.
Oh, grief counselor.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Well, maybe you can answer a question for me. I've actually been not anything that I really knew that I needed help with until recently. I had a friend who she's always asked me, well, have you thought about therapy? Have you thought about therapy? And I've been to counseling for some different things, but she specifically was talking about trauma therapy. We live our lives and we go through things, and to us, it's life.
Right.
So you don't ever think about, I was adopted at age 2 and the parents got divorced at 8, and I moved around a lot from like age 10 to 14, and then I went back to the original school that I grew up in, but I didn't know any of those kids, so I was an outcast. And then like just a lot of car accidents, and just a lot of stuff that I thought was normal. And then you talk to people as you get older, and they look at you with their head turned sideways, and they're like, "That's not normal." So I've been thinking about, and kind of manifesting this. Okay, I need it to happen. But I've just been thinking about it. So I've been put in the universe. And I think it's time that I break through the surface of that, and figure out what's there.
Yeah.
She did EMDR, and she's a completely different person now after doing it. But I'm new to the area, and I don't really know like what resources are out there and where to go. Do you have any input or suggestions, or do you know any people in the field? Or?
I don't know any people because I do clinical.
Yeah.
So I'm in a hospital.
Okay.
I deal with critical care and palliative care, like people that are on their way out.
Okay.
But I mean, you can research it. And I had a friend of mine that was looking for a counselor recently. She was looking for a female in particular, because she was dealing with a lot of grieving from her sister passing away, and I told her she probably just need to find some. You have to. It's about finding the right person for you.
Yeah.
That would fit your personality and possibly know what you've been through already.
Okay.
And that's just hit and miss sometimes.
Right.
Because you can talk to somebody and y'all don't click, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Then you got to search somewhere else. It's a process, trust me.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen. You go to a counselor and that's the perfect one. Boom, and everything's good.
Yeah. That's kind of similar to, I lived in Florida, and I was involved in like the recovery community down there, and I worked at a treatment center, and mentored. I'll say mentor for the sake of what it actually was and anonymity and stuff like that. But so I mentored, so to speak, a lot of guys, and one thing that I had to learn real quick is that not everyone is going to mesh with me.
Right.
But in my network, who did I know that they reminded me of? So who could I link this guy with who's trying to save his life with somebody that's walked that path or been down that road?
Right.
And then there were some people that right off the bat, we just hit it off.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to tell your life story to somebody, you need to know that person is somebody that you vibe with.
Yeah.
Number one, and like coming in, and you think about like sobriety and what growth of any kind.
Yeah.
trying to reach a new level, your net worth is your network.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at somebody who hasn't been relieved of these things that I'm dealing with, then, just kick rocks. I'm going to go somewhere where you might not look like me, but I hear me in your story.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Somebody who can tell me, but no longer looks like me.
Right. They have empathy for you too, because they have that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, that's a process. And it's a process of elimination, But when you were talking about that, one thing that came to my mind, one of my friends has a plaque on his wall that says, "Hurt people, hurt people."
Dude, yeah.
And, when you're, like you said, when you're dealing with somebody that hasn't come out of what you're going through, they'll end up being more damaging than they are helping.
Like unsolicited advice.
Right.
Yeah. So many, and I catch myself sometimes, the codependent in me wants to, well, let me tell you, I've changed it from, well, you should do this to, well, let me tell you what I did.
Uh-huh.
But now I don't even do that as much, because unless someone's specifically asking you for your advice, don't give it.
Right.
Because this victim triangle, which I'm sure you're familiar with, right, is I want you to feel what I feel.
Right.
I want to give it to you so we can play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a Yaz.life is a YouTube channel that I follow, and she talks about that, the victim triangle and codependency, which I didn't realize was a huge issue of mine for years. It wasn't, and it didn't even have to be a positive codependency. Actually, it worked better if it was a negative one.
Yeah.
Because we fed off each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with the area in that sense either.
Right.
Because I've only been here 6 years.
Okay.
So, it takes a lifetime almost to blend in with everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're not from here, they tend to have problems like meshing with you.
Right. Well, I think that's something that goes back as old as ancient times,
Yeah.
If you're from a different tribe or a different kingdom or township,
Yeah.
What are you here for?
Right.
But we're in a day and age where we're going to either have to start loving together or falling apart.
Yeah. It'd be more advantageous to love together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then everybody wins.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what we're going through right now.
And I hope that's what catches,
Yeah.
and not the opposite.
Yes. But if I was saying to someone today, if they don't get this thing under control and get these people that lost their jobs back to work, it's going to eventually come to robbing and stealing to survive.
Right.
And that's not going to be pretty for nobody.
Yep. Well, because you get used to a way of life.
Yeah.
And when it's taken from you out of your control,
Yep.
instinct says,
Right.
I've got to provide for my family.
Yep.
I've got to survive.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that, see, I've lived on both sides of the track.
Uh-huh.
I know what it's like to have nothing. And most of the time, by choice, to have nothing.
Uh-huh.
And then I know what it's like to not worry for nothing.
Yeah.
And now I get to go through life where I'm learning what it's like to not worry from my own works.
Right.
And those are three totally different places to live.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciation and acknowledgement and ownership of something you worked for is much different from anything that's given to you. And a life where you're used to having nothing has given me a respect of a minimalist approach now, which actually in the long run means I can have more, because frivolous things aren't attractive to me.
Right. And you have an appreciation.
Yeah.
Appreciation level above what you have. Now, you appreciate when somebody gives you something. Okay, but
Yeah.
you're not going to handle it the same way
Right.
if you had to work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 cars have told me that. And the last one hurt the worst because that was the one that, I mean, yeah, it was an insurance check, but that was the one that I considered. I made the decision on it. I did the paperwork. I chose how much of the rebate check I was going to use. You know what I mean? But still, the next one will really be that gold to me. You know, because nobody will be on the down payment. Nobody will be on the, you know, but.
Right.
So a question about grief. I've lost a lot of people. I experienced, and if you're not on the clock right now, I can totally stop this question. I totally get it.
Oh, no, you good.
So I've lost parents, birth parents, grandparents. I had an ex that committed suicide. And all of this has been 5-6 years plus back. But now, whenever I see somebody going through grief, and whenever I experience loss, I don't know if it's a safe place that I go to, because I don't want to say that I shut it out, but maybe I'm jaded, and I just kind of expect that that's what happens in life.
So are you saying that you guard yourself?
That's possible.
And that's a natural reaction when you've gone through so much. You guard yourself so that you don't experience it. Because a lot of times grief is still fresh no matter how long it's been since it happened. It could be 5 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, it hits you. Because of the level of care or love or whatever it was that you had for that individual or individuals, that's still fresh. I mean, they're still in your heart. No matter how long you live or they live, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, don't have an expectation of when your grief is going to end.
Okay.
That will put you in a place that, and if it doesn't happen, you're like,
Right.
what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Am I broken?
Right. And so you have to always keep in the forefront, there is no time limit.
Okay.
And that way you're open to whenever grief stops, it stops.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or if it hits you and you didn't expect it, it's okay.
You're okay.
You can just flip a U and I'm going to hop out right. Yeah. So maybe it's fear.
Yeah, it could be.
Like getting back into new things or putting myself out there.
Yeah.
Oh, you just gave me something to chew on.
Yeah.
You have a business card?
I don't.
Okay. Well, if we serendipitously meet in the future, maybe I'll have had a breakthrough. And if not, it's been a pleasure. And thank you for that tidbit to chew on.
Yeah, no problem, man.
That probably will help someone other than me in the future, because I probably will do something. I'll do something with the information you just gave me. I can guarantee you that.
All right.
What's your name?
Vattel.
Vattel?
Yep.
Alex, it was nice meeting you.
All right, man.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Stay safe. Oh, my mask.